Hello everyone, this is John for PokerVIP.com, and in this video we are back with part 19 of the Grinding TonyBet series. Current tables 2NL and all 25NL around that. So 3 25NL tables, 1 2NL table. I think if another 25NL table pops up, which I'm on the waiting list for, I will hop on that and make it like a 25NL part, which I think is pretty cool. But for now we're just going to get stuck in with this. If you've not checked out the previous episodes, make sure you go back. Like I said, this is part 19, so you've got 18 parts to catch up on. We just talked general strategy, how to approach sites like this, how to get the most out of it, and basically just real poker played by a real poker player. So, not much action so far. You saw that I basically opened 10s, C-bet flop when I flopped the set, and then bet turned, didn't get any action. This King 10 suited, very easy peel. Don't need to 3-bet it pre-flop. It's a strong hand that plays pretty well. We're going to be out of position, of course, but we can keep the pot small. And we can see the flop for a good price, considering we've got our big blind already in there. And I think here we can just go ahead and check fold versus a pot size bet. He should not pot size anything really there. It doesn't make sense as value or a bluff. He can represent that flop with a smaller bluff. And obviously, if he has a big slice of it, then he doesn't want to scare me off. So I'd say that's just an error on his part. Sizing wise, always there. I'm going to go ahead and bet the 4-6 off because we have 4-6 off. He called pre-flop and we have 6 high. So we should probably just try and win this pot. I'm going to go ahead and check the turn and basically think what to do on the river. Pretty interesting river here. I think I might have the best hand versus a hand like 9-10, King 10, Ace 10. So I'm actually going to check and think that I do win this enough of the time and I don't need to turn my hand into a bluff. Sadly though, he had the flush. He should pretty much always be betting that. If you're going to peel with the 10-6 of diamonds, flop a flush draw and call, then when you make that flush and he goes check on turn, you should probably lead for value. Because I might go ahead and just check back a hand like pocket 10s, but I might go ahead and call with a hand like pocket 10s as well. All of these parts are 30 minutes long, roughly. So lots and lots of hours of TonyBet. This is the second to last month. It is a 24-part series. There are only 5 parts remaining. Pretty crazy how far we've come and how much money we have made off this beautiful site. 10NL game loaded. I think I'll stick with a 2NL. We haven't shown 2NL for a while. My preference is not to really play 2NL. Just because I really don't have any idea about it. I obviously make a lot of micro stakes videos, but never that low. So it's kind of like a thing of, I don't know exactly how those games play, but I think maybe that's a good thing for this video, because at least we get to recap it and, I sort of like learn the ropes as we go along. Of course, I can just approach it with a general strategy, which is what I will do. But of course, these stakes do vary in how they play, and you just have to adjust in game. Ace-8 suited under the gun 5-handed we should always be opening. We don't know really too much about the table. Apart from stack sizes, everyone looks a little bit fishy. This guy's only got 40 bigs. But still with Ace-8 suited when a player's set out, we should just raise it and go from there. And on that time everyone folded, which is a fine result. It is not bad if people fold when you have a hand like that. We pick up the blinds, we make some money. All good. A Jack 5 going to be a fold. You can definitely 3-bet the Jack 5 off versus like players who just open a lot blind versus blind and fold a lot versus 3-bets, but we just don't know that information yet. It needs to be a very specific read. As always, I encourage you to hit me with some comments and the star rating review. Nice to know what you guys are thinking, what you are wanting. Bottom left table, 25NL, I've opened Ace Queen off under the gun and been flagged from both the blinds, which can mean pretty much anything. Suited connectors, pocket pairs, king queens, king jacks. Even hands like ace 10s might be in there, although I personally prefer to fold that from the small blind or 3-bet it. Gonna go ahead and bet the king 5-3 rainbow though. It looks very strong if I bet into 2, and I represent these big king high boards. And we'd expect them to 3-bet with a lot of the big kings like ace king. I'm gonna check this turn. Ace Queen, nice take free card off. Ace Queen or 4 might be the best hand. And just generally when he calls on that flop, that deuce does improve him. Hands like Ace 4, even hands like Ace Deuce, 4-6. Or even just if he has a king, then he's probably going to hold on. He bets pretty large here, repping a king or better. I think we can give him that and fold. Ace-4 suited I opened, got called, and we face a squeeze here. Don't really know too much about this guy, so I'm going to fold, but maybe a nice spot to go ahead and hit him with a 4-bet. He actually gets called by Sol, who I'm going to assume is a very weak player. Calling and then calling out of position with his stack size, mobile phone user, and would imagine quite weak. Inevitable actually checks there, which is strange because I expect he has absolutely nothing when he does check. Like a hand like Ace King of Diamonds, for example. Because he should just be getting value with everything else. Jack Queen suited works there, wins there, and that's the wrong button. We want this one. Do we get to see his hand? Ace Queen of Diamonds, so we were 1 card off. We're going to make up the small blind here with the Queen 5 suited, and we're going to raise the 7 and 9 suited. Making up the small blind is a strategy that you don't come across too often. But with that like Queen 5 suited getting a good price, it is fine to go ahead and make that call. Bottom left, huge pot going on here. Ace Queen just bluffing it off into the flush. 7 9 suited, going to go ahead and bet. Queen 5 suited, I'm going to check and just basically take a cautious approach. Board pairs, I think I might just keep checking this and basically just call any turn and any river. Obviously we are setting ourselves up for an overcard or a draw getting there. But I think I'm just going to use this hand as a bluff catcher. He pot bets, we call. AKA the plan. And sadly he does get there. But I'm happy with the way I played that. 6-7 suited here. I think I'm actually going to come along just because this Sal seems like such a weak player. And if we do hit like we have, there are definitely some implied odds there of getting lots of money from him. Bottom left table, second pair, dry board. Yeah, we should just probably start off by betting. Same with the Queen 10 and the 6-7 here. I think I'm actually going to take the stronger approach and go for a raise here. Does look pretty strong, but because there are so many draws, we can get value from his draws, or we can just assume we have a draw. Ace on the turn, not a terrible card. Obviously, it's a spade, so we are going to slow down and just see what happens. But it is certainly not the end of the world. If he starts betting, I would be a little worried. I expect to check a lot here because he's going to have some overpairs like Jack through the Kings with a spade and want a free card. When he does start betting, he's going to be representing a big hand such as a full house or flush. But we can't go ahead and fold just yet. Terrible river card there. Straights, flushes, houses, you know, all of that stuff is there now. So it'll be a very easy check. Fold on the river. He does actually end up just checking very quickly. And let me see if I can find it in a second. Fold, raise, fold. Let's have a look. That's not it. I do tend to noob out on these hand replay. There we go. He had 8 of clubs, deuce of clubs, so I think Kronko is a fish. I'm going to go ahead and call in position with 10s here. Inevitably mix it up between 3-bet and calling. Inevitable seems like the good player on the table. It certainly doesn't mean we shouldn't 3-bet him. But we can also, you know, ensure Kronko sort of like overpeels, or maybe he 3-bets and our hand strength is hidden. Gonna go for a re-ISO here with the jacks and just never fold. 10s I'm gonna bet, and I'm just gonna go 125 into 230. Big pot there, ace queen king 9. Can't blame the ace queen really. King 9 flopping at the flush. 10s we take it down. Certainly always want to bet there. We're gonna get value from worse. We're gonna protect our hand from, you know, lots of overcards that have equity versus us. So just start betting, and if you get raised or called, then just think about it on future streets and everything should become clear. 10 jack suited, very straightforward. Not a good turn card. Not a good turn card at all. As turn cards go, that is one of the worst. He's pop bet it again. Don't think we can just fold. I was going to say, I think that means we have to call any river, but when it's another overcard, I think we now get away from this and fold. 9-10 also gets there, so yeah, this is just a call fold, sadly. Not something you see me do much of. And just as we say that, can we sit out? Nice. We have a new 25 NL game, so this is now a 25 NL series. Sorry, part, which I think is pretty cool. 4 tables at 25 and L, guys. You guys saying the traffic's not there. Well, I'm making this at 1 p.m. on a Wednesday. And I've got 4 tables at 25 and L popping. Queen 9 suited versus Like a Boss. Let's see how he reacts to this. Because his name is that, he obviously knows William Kassouf, the main event guy. That means you might be splashy, you might be a bit of a maniac. Who really knows? But with a hand like Queen 9 suited on the button, we can go ahead and just give it a little try. See how he reacts. And, you know, if he calls, that's cool. If he 4-bets, that's cool. You know, we know what to do. And I just, you know, Queen hide him like a boss. If you don't know who William Kassouf is, just YouTube it. Big character of this year's main event who said like a boss a lot. Shame he didn't make it up because he could have made some money off that trademark. King, Queen, yep, let's ISO this guy. Very strong hand versus a perceived weaker player who's limped. Interesting flop. Not a bad one, but one that I'm just happy to check. And again, this is going to be like a bluff catching situation. Although I think actually on this turn I should go ahead and bet for value. A lot of times I would just check down, but I think once it's a club and we have the king of clubs, we have the second pair, we have the straight draw, we can start getting money in there and not be too worried about how he reacts to that. Ace-8 under the gun, we're going to fold. Ace-8 suited I would have opened, being 5-handed. To note, this guy only has 40 big blinds. Creso 9-1-1. When people ask me about software on TonyBet, I've had 2 issues out of the 100 hours I've played. Once the cashier wouldn't top up, and then the other time a table kind of froze. But I've certainly had worse than that across millions of other skins, so I would consider it not to be a bad thing. Easy call with the king 4 suited blind versus blind, and an interesting 3-bet spot here with the 3-4 suited. Very easy call. Lots of great turn cards for us with the king 4 suited. This not being one of them. When we have 4 high, we should probably go ahead and bet. We do also have 60% of a straight flush. King 4 suited are now going to fold because we did not turn any equity or improve. Speaking of that straight flush, here we go. And I think because it's an ace, we can go small here because we represent it pretty well. Would suck if he raised and we have to fold. Well, like an all-in, we'd have to fold. But yeah, we're just going to barrel there. And there's a lot of rivers we can jam, of course, with value or a bluff. But we just take it down. We represent that ace so well. We 3-bet small blind versus button, strength. We bet queen high, strength. We bet the ace on the turn, strength. And our sizing looked like we really wanted some action. And that's how you win with 4 high like a boss. Jack Queen, let's raise it up. Jack Queen here, we get 3 calls. I think I'm actually just going to check here. It's just too many people to get through. Also, speaking of backdoors, we now develop a straight draw. Ace 5 suited, I'm going to open. Then just go ahead and bet here. I'd expect someone to bet an ace on the flop, so we'll see if we can take this down. If not, then we can hit a king or an 8 and get some value. I feel the folds are coming. Ace 5, we flop top 2. Pocket 4s, we open. Top 2 here, let's go around 175. It's a pretty wet board. Lots of ace highs or callers, lots of flush draws. Ace highs, I mean ace pairs. Pairs of aces. There's lots of aces that can go ahead and call. There's lots of draws that can call. Even hands like pocket deuces and pocket 3s can go ahead and call. King high flush draws, queen high flush draws, any high flush draws, even a hand like 6, 7. So there's definitely lots of hands there where we can really get some value from and build a pot with pot versus. Can't believe we've only been on 14 minutes here, guys. It seems like a lot has happened. Or maybe I'm just talking more than ever. Ace 3, blind versus blind. Get a call. I'm going to go ahead and bet this because we have the backdoors. Quite often a 10-jack 4 flop would mean give up, because it's definitely one of those flops that can go ahead and hit somebody. I'm going to go ahead and pop bet here my draw and my draw. The deuce, of course, and the club. And we take it down, which is lovely. It is nice to get a fold there. And again, if he calls, well, we can value bet when we hit, or if we feel he's going to fold, we can go ahead and continue the bluff. All depends on what the river is, of course. This Saul is getting involved versus like a boss on the top left table. Always worth watching these big hands. Interesting turn card. Going to fold the king 6. Well, no longer a big pot, sadly. I'm going to make up the small blind with king deuce suited. That is actually very close. Very close indeed. I'm going to just check. Big bet here by like a boss. King deuce will get a check. 7-8 suited I'm going to open. Like a boss there, the king at 9 of spades. Wow, and Sal had jack deuce. So yeah, Sal's just like a massive fish. 7-8 suited, we flop second pair, some backdoor draws. I'm just going to go ahead and bet. I mean, it's a pretty good stance. He raises, and with his stack size, this is a pretty easy fold. Not too sure what he's got there, but our hand's just a little bit meh. But certainly bet folding's fine. Gonna fold the 6-2 suited. Four, 5, 3, 5, and then ace queen bottom left. Let's go ahead and open that one. Raise and take it. Games are certainly a lot tighter today. Obviously, we've got people like Sal and Kronko who are keeping them alive, but certainly lots of sort of like raise and take. It's not that much pre-flop battling going on. Not that you get that much battling in these games generally. You know, the regs kind of keep themselves to themselves because, well, they just want to play against the fish, basically. Which there are plenty of. 4-5 I'm going to fold here. Just in the middle, second pair, no kicker. Never going to be fun to continue, basically. Ace-3 here versus Mondilo. He's actually a decent player. Again, very close. Certainly my small blind makeup range is not constructed because it's just so rare that it happens versus such a variety of people. So it's quite a tough spot, but here it seems like a pretty obvious bet for value. Waking up with kings top right table. Queen 7 we're going to fold on the button. Yeah, we're going to fold queen 7. Close. Kings we're going to 3-bet. Note this guy's stack size. I'm going to go for exactly 3x. I would go bigger quite often. And we get shipped on pretty quick and make a pretty easy call. Running it twice versus the jacks. Good turn card. Good river. So that's one for the good guys. Oop. So pretty good flop again. Not the greatest turn though. Obviously gave him the outs for the jack. But he just hit the jack anyway. The jack of clubs would have been fine also because of the board pair. Cannot hold there, guys. Could not hold. I tried my best. It was a very good flop. Just not the river that we were hoping for. I don't like it when you flop the 3 clubs. They don't have a club, but then the board pairs. It just seems like we're just giving these guys the opportunity. Jack Queen, I'm actually going to take a check call line here. I think we can definitely do some bluffs from him. Our hand's strong, but not super strong. He's pot bet it. This could get funky. It's going to get real funky real quick. Pot betting, I really don't know what Bondino does it with, but yeah, I mean, we're going to go for another call here with our straight draw. And second pair, really bad river card for us there. Really bad river. Check, check, and he's got ace king? What? I don't get it. Good. Okay. If he 3-bet pre, I would have 4-bet as well, using my Jack Queen blockers. He should always 3-bet there. Don't really get that line at all. The pop bet, the big bet. Interesting one. He went for the check. I think the check's fine on the river. It's just his pre-flop play. It's pretty interesting. Made a squeeze with King Queen. Obviously, always wanting to do that, guys. And we do take it down. I mean, I really have no idea what this guy's limping with. I'm going to just try isolating now. I thought Bondino was a good player because I recognize the name. He's on lots of tables with big stacks, but I mean, maybe he's a good player. Maybe limping is just his thing. Limping is not a fish play, guys. Limping the button 4-5 suited. Saul is in the pot. I think he wants to go broke. Let's protect the button. So yeah, Bondino's an interesting one. The way he played that ace king, the way he just limps. I'm really unsure about him, which is a good thing. It's good if somebody doesn't know if you're good or bad. I was speaking to a PLO PokerStars reg who plays like up to 10, 20, 25, 50, as in like 2K and 5K. And he was basically discussing just how some poker players out there, naming no names, have really made it their life's ambition to be known as the best. They tell everyone they're the best. They, tell, mark players as not good regs. They do all these things and they just lose so much action. The idea is to make people think you're not that great. That is the whole point of it. Gonna go for the re-isolated bottom left. And obviously I will just stack off versus RV Dash. Gonna go for a bet with the King 10 and fold the 8-5. Interesting pot here going on top left as well, guys. Gonna go ahead and keep betting this Queen turn. Ace Jack on his calls. I'm just gonna go ahead and bet, and the nut flush wins there with the Ace Deuce. Yeah, not keep people guessing. Don't always do the odd little fishy thing. I remember, and this strategy will just sound so funny to you guys, but this was like 8 years ago, I want to say, and my friend, who was like one of the biggest winners at like 1KNL on Stars, basically like said, "Oh, you should open up you should open 4-6 suited under the gun, just so people know you've got 4-6 suited sometimes." Now everyone's like, "Yeah, I mean, obviously, whatever, like that's simple." But back then it was like, "Oh yeah, fuck, you should kind of like show it with something junkish now and then." So you keep people guessing, because obviously back then it was a lot stricter. People were falling like Ace Jack under the gun or whatever, and people didn't really understand ranges that often. So keep people guessing is basically the overall thing. And my rep, of course, for people watching this might think I'm crazy, might think I bluff too much, people might think I'm tight. I think people have a different perception of me depending on what part they've watched or stuff I've done. Also, people I play against every day on TonyBet or Sky or Unibet or somewhere like that will all have interesting opinions on me. Some people might think I'm really good, some people might think I'm the worst. And that's a great thing. Okay, so sorry about that. I just had a power surge in the house, and everything cut out. TonyBet went, then my computer went, but good job. Screencast-O-Matic, I can just restart. I just jumped on the nearest tables. It took about a few minutes for my computer to load up. So 25 NL at the top, 50 NL at the bottom, and 2 NL bottom right. Bit of a shame that good job I wasn't involved in any hands. This is the second time we've had a power cut in the local area. Very strange that it happens. Luckily for me, it's always instant. Jack Queen going to go ahead and bet here. Got a gut shot. And the backdoor Jack high flush draw. King 5 going to go ahead and fold. And the Queen Deuce. Yeah, Power Surges in 2016. Very interesting. Obviously something kicking off in the local area. My parents' house, who live about 5 minutes from me, they had no power for 4 hours the other night. Mine, like I said, just comes instantly back on. But hey, we're back on different tables. It's all about grinding TonyBet, and it's a real life grind. Ace 10 suited, very easy peel. Glad we got a 15L table as well going. Although we had some good fish to look out for on the other tables. Ace, I'm going to check again here. He can definitely be taking a pot control line with like jacks or queens, or he can definitely start bluffing on delayed c-betting on the turn. So I'm happy to control the size of the pot and just allow those kind of things. And I think I just have to call the river here. He might think I've got some flush draws. Might, might just be hanging around with a weekend that I might fold. So I think I just have to call here because I have pretty close to the top of my range. He actually had a set of kings. I just never check flops really in that spot. There's so many hands I can call there. My gut shots, my jack queens, my jack nines, my queen nines, my tens. I can have a king. If I was him, I would just probably bet flop, bet turn, bet river, or maybe bet check bet or something like that. Certainly not a bad play. It's always good to slow play, but on a board like that, you can get some action. If the board was something like King 7 Deuce Rainbow, then I think there's more warrant to go ahead and check. But when there's lots of draws that are out there, and lots of ways I can connect with that board, then my general play will just be to go ahead and just start building the pot and getting value. But a nice hand. Flopping top set, guys. It's been a while since we've done something like that. I think we've made some money this session, even though the, what was it, Kings versus Jacks hand, obviously he got the chop. But I think things are going well. Seven four, we're going to fold. Jack Deuce, we face a limper. 2NL, I expect limping a lot. Although you'll have probably noticed 2NL, 10NL, 25NL, 15L, the limps just continue to happen. I forget what other site I made a video on, and it was just limping and limping. Oh, it was Sky. I've never seen as much limping as on Sky. But TonyBet's pretty close. I'm going to bet my full house. People can have an ace, people can have pocket pairs. Happy to just go ahead and start betting there. When they don't have anything, though, of course, you're going to get a lot of faults. Ace 9, we're going to fold. Queen 10, we're going to go ahead and peel here. Got to be careful with hands like this because we're often going to be dominated. Queen 10, we're going to fold. 7 deuce, we're going to fold. But yeah, Queen 10, we're getting a good price and it's playable, of course. King 7, we're going to muck. And we're going to sit out after these hands. So, yep, that was part 19. Apologies for the brief disruption and the change of games, but hopefully that hasn't ruined anything. And I'll make sure everything's edited well on this side so it was a smooth transaction of failure. I'll be back for part... Sorry, was this 18 or 19? This was part 19, so yeah, I'll be back for part 20. And then the last 4 parts in December, guys. It's going to be the end of the biggest poker series ever made. Get signed up, come check out TonyBet, and I'll see you next time. Good luck at the tables.